What's up, Star Wars fans? Today I want to talk about the Ahsoka series. We got some casting news, which is a little weird, as well as an update on the production start time. But hey, before we get to that, just let me say, this is Star Wars speculation, where we love the anticipation and speculation that leads up to Star Wars releases. So if you love Star Wars and speculation, then hit that subscribe button and come back again tomorrow. But that out of the way, let's get to that production news. And this comes from a very reliable source, the BESPIN Bulletin. They're stating, over the past few weeks, I've been hearing from multiple sources that Ahsoka is scheduled to film in April. The series was initially set to film later in March, but plans changed when more weeks were added to the production of The Mandalorian Season 3. And personally, I'm very happy to hear that they're taking the time to make sure that The Mandalorian Season 3 is just right. Because I think one of the things that the Book of Boba Fett suffered from is that due to the pandemic, they had to rush the production, which resulted in a series that wasn't at the same level as The Mandalorian Season 1 and 2. So I'm super pumped that Dave and John are taking their time with The Mandalorian Season 3, and I know Dave is going to do the same with the Ahsoka series. In fact, the BESPIN Bulletin went on to state that the production could actually be pushed back to May, and that it was most likely going to take place until the end of the year. And so Dave Filoni should have lots of time to get this series just right. But there was one thing I found to be a little off with this report, and that was the code name for the Ahsoka series is actually called Stormcrow. I mean, just knowing how much Dave Filoni absolutely loves wolves, I thought the production name would have something to do with a wolf. But moving on, here we have way more than just production news. Yesterday, The Hollywood Reporter revealed new casting news, and it's not so much the casting that's weird, but the rumored rank and position of the character that has been cast. The Hollywood Reporter states Ray Stevenson is going from sailing the oceans to sailing the spaceways. The actor who last appeared in the History Channel's Vikings has joined Ahsoka, the next Star Wars live-action series gearing up to go into production at Lucasfilm and Disney. And certainly I need to go back and check out Ray Stevenson and some of the other things that he's done. He was Volstagg in Marvel's Thor movies, he was Black Bear in the Stars Black Sails pirate series, and as was mentioned earlier, he was part of the Vikings show over on the History Channel. And certainly if we're just looking at that back catalog of work, it would make it seem like he'd be some sort of scoundrel or even some sort of space pirate. But did you know that Ray Stevenson is actually the voice behind Gar Saxon in the Star Wars Rebels and the Clone Wars animation series, meaning that Dave Filoni may have actually recruited him to play a live-action Mandalorian, but of course he wouldn't be playing Gar Saxon, as he is actually killed by Ursa Wren in the Rebels series. Now, all this speculation aside, The Hollywood Reporter does give us a hint as to who Stevenson could be playing in the series. They state in the article, it is unclear who Stevenson will play, but sources say he is a villain in the series and will play an admiral, although not Thrawn. And to me, this is a rather weird statement. I mean, the Imperial Remnant doesn't seem like it's large enough to have more than one admiral, but I guess the Imperial Remnant could be much larger than we actually believe it is. And remember, Thrawn is after all a Grand Admiral, so it does make some sense that Stevenson could be playing an admiral who is working under Grand Admiral Thrawn. But I mean, with such a small force such as the Imperial Remnant, I just find it weird that we'd have so many high position officers such as Moff Gideon, Grand Admiral Thrawn, and now another admiral added to the mix as well. So if this rumor is true, and remember, even though it comes from The Hollywood Reporter, it is still a rumor, and Ray Stevenson is indeed playing an admiral with the Imperial Remnant, then I believe that that means that the Imperial Remnant is much larger than we think, or at least have seen in The Mandalorian Season 1 and 2. And if I was going to go deep into speculation, which I like to do, I'd say this lends a bit of support to the idea that Grand Admiral Thrawn is actually creating a clone army. And for those who think that's an absolutely crazy idea, remember that's exactly what happened in Legends. Thrawn was able to reclaim much of the galaxy from the New Republic because he was able to revive the scattered Imperial army and use cloning equipment that was located at Mount Tantus on the planet Wayland, which at the end of the Bad Batch Season 1 was reintroduced into canon. But not only did Dave Filoni reintroduce Mount Tantus into canon at the end of the Bad Batch Season 2, we also see that the Imperials take Nala Se, the chief Camino cloner, to Mount Tantus. So certainly if Ray Stevenson is playing an admiral, it could be a little bit of support for this theory that Grand Admiral Thrawn is indeed cloning an army at Mount Tantus. But hey, Star Wars fans, what do you think of this latest production and casting news for the Ahsoka series? Remember, none of this is official news from Lucasfilm, but is from very reliable sources in the BESPIN Bulletin in the Hollywood Reporter. And remember that my speculation on Ray Stevenson's character, well, it's just that, speculation, so don't take it too seriously. But that all said, Star Wars fans, I'm Mike. Please join our community by sharing your speculation in the comments below, and remember as always that the Force is with you.